Investing is not just about how much money you have to invest, but it is also about how much time you have to let that investment grow. Today's video, we're going to be looking at compounding interest and probably one of the most important things that we have found, which is the reason it is called the eighth wonder of the world. Now, compounding interest is actually the ability to grow value over time when it comes to investments. Compounding interest, however, can also work against you. In the case of student loans, where if you borrow $20,000, you're going to have some compounded interest over that first 6 months, 12 months. If you're in school 4 to 6 years, the compounding of the initial amount you borrowed in combination with whatever else you borrowed can really roll into a very, very big fast snowball. But in today, we're going to be looking at the growth amount, how you can use it and leverage it for investing with the compounding interest, with the 10 biggest effects of the compounding interest, starting with number one, which is exponential growth. Now, compounding interest allows your money to grow exponentially, and depending on your time frame, there is actually a point in time where it will double, triple, even further than that, your investment that you have in there, because you're gaining not only in the principal amount that you put in, but it is also accumulating interest, and the growth accelerates faster and faster. So think of a giant snowball that starts as a very small snowball at the top of a hill. You roll it down, by the time it gets to the bottom, it is going to be much, much larger. Now, this, of course, does come with time. This is the reason when you look at IRAs, when you look at 401k plans, the consistent growth that you're putting in there. So if you make contributions, every paycheck, every week, every 2 weeks, once a month, if you're putting money in there, it is going to start growing, not only from the principal you're putting in there, but also from the growth factor. When you receive that growth factor, so when it actually grows, the snowball is going to get bigger and bigger, allowing you to exponentially grow the portfolio, making it into a giant mountain when you're ready to retire. Now, number two, it increases the wealth. The longer your money compounds, the more wealth you accumulate, and the faster you can accumulate that wealth. Consider compounding interest can really lead to financial gains. Even if the market is up or down, it can lead to a lot of big gains. Now, I put this in conjunction with my dollar cost averaging. So if the market's going up, I'm seeing some returns, I'm getting some dividends. Those are my returns, allowing the dividends to reinvest, allowing any of the growth potential to reinvest. And as I'm adding to my portfolio, again, your bucket just continues to get bigger, and that snowball just continues to get bigger. Now, the third one, time is your ally. That is right. The earlier you start investing or saving, the more time you have to compound. This is the reason why it comes to, the 20-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, you have to be putting away that 15%. It is really a staple when it comes to your contributions. And the good way to think about it, guys, is if you're putting your investment portfolio in, let's say, a Roth IRA or 401k at 15%, when you get a pay raise, you're still going to be putting 15%. When you get bonuses, it's always going to be 15%. If you put it at that 15% upfront, you're never going to have to adjust it, and you want to automate it. I cannot stress this part enough, guys, is when it comes to the automation of the finances, it is really the best way that I have ever found to grow wealth. So not only putting the money in there automatically, letting it grow by compounding interest is going to be a game changer for the rest of your life. Now, of course, this is very advantageous when it comes to long-term financial goals like retirement planning. Even if you're planning for your kids for school, if you start something really young when they're born, in 18 years, having 18 years of growth, 18 years of contributions, and also 18 years of compounding is going to make a really big difference when it comes to being able to send them to school and pay for it in its entirety. Number four, we look at the passive income. Compounding interest can generate passive income. When you get to a certain point as your investment grows, the interest earned can contribute to your wealth without almost any effort. So the good way to think about this, guys, is if you're building a portfolio, let's say you get it up to $1 million. Congratulations, you're there. You're getting a 5% return. You can take $50,000 off of the top of that and still sit on $1 million. So I know this is an old comment that we hear sometimes from Dave Ramsey. You never take care of the goose. You never kill the goose. You just always take the eggs. Is you could have $50,000 of passive income every single year without ever touching the principal, guys. Now, this, of course, only works, and it can work exponentially if you're putting more in there, is because if you're taking a certain amount out and not touching the goose can still continue to grow if you're getting over that 5%, which again, the compounding interest can get you there much faster than it would by just sitting on the sidelines. Number 5, we look at the snowball effect. This is the big one, guys. The snowball effect. This is where your money grows, and this is where it increases over time, can lead to the accumulation and the development, building of wealth. Now, of course, this comes with contributions. If not only you're getting that compounding effect, but if you're also putting in regular contributions, even as little as $100 a month can make a really big difference, guys. When you're looking over 10, 20, 30 years, it can be a game-changing difference for you and your entire family tree, which is very cool to see. Number 6, we look at the risk mitigation. Now, compounding interest helps you mitigate the impact of market fluctuations. If markets are up, if markets are down, the compounding interest is going to work even when there is volatility, because the process will work in your favor over time. That is really the big thing, guys. A lot of people say it is not the timing of the market, but it is the time that you spend in the market. Now, one of the big things with the compounding interest brings us to number 7, which is the reinvestment. Now, reinvesting the earnings is what you want to do to get a exponentially bigger compounding result. This strategy maximizes the growth potential of your portfolio in both the investing and the savings aspect, that you want to make sure, again, that you are really compounding that. Now, number 8, the inflation hedge. That is right. Compounding interest will help you counteract the effects of inflation. We know over the last couple of years, inflation has been absolutely out of control. The growth of money outpaces the erosion of the purchasing power through compounding. The compounding effect, guys, it has been proven. If you're looking to really accumulate true wealth and build wealth generating tools, investing in the market. I say this again, and I say it quite a bit. If you're sitting on cash, if you're sitting on a savings account, inflation is eating up a lot of it. The purchasing power is eating up a lot of it. It has to be invested. It has to be in high yield savings, has to be in somewhere that is making a very considerable and significant return to really see the growth factor in the wealth creation. Number 9, the long-term goals. This is huge, guys, whether you're buying a home, funding an education, planning for retirement, retiring comfortably. Compounding interest will give you the money and give you the means to do that. When it comes to long-term financial planning, you really want to do that, and you want to make sure that you're checking in on your goals. If you're setting a target goal, let's say of 60 years old to retire, you need to know exactly how much you need to have in your plan, what the compounding interest is going to look like, and exactly the steps that you need to get to that point, because when you do hit that point, congratulations, you have retired. Now, the final one, guys, is financial discipline. Knowing the benefits of compounding interest can encourage financial discipline, but this is the accountability piece, and I call this out in most videos. When it comes to the accountability, you have to be making the contributions. You have to be investing the money, have to be putting away 15% of that income over an extended amount of time, and you will retire comfortably, regardless of the field, regardless of your income, regardless of your job. Pretty much any of those effects, any of those parameters don't really have that much of an impact when it comes to savings and when it comes to the regular habits of making contributions. Because even, let's say, for instance, I'm putting in 15%, my company matches 6. Don't cut down that 15% just because of the company match. The more that you put in there, the more you get used to savings. And I think, honestly, it's kind of a fundamental habit that I feel a lot of people are missing. Savings accounts, in my opinion, again, are going to kind of make you poor. Has to be invested, has to be long-term, has to be willing to grow over the long term. And I'm talking 10, 20, 30 years. By the time you need the money, it is going to be there for you guys. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the compounding interest. And as always, thank you guys for watching.